Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It is Saturday evening and it's been a busy day and a sort of that time of year day. Um, as you know, this morning I was doing my oven chips. I made a loaf of bread in the bread maker that I was going to take a photograph of because I was very proud of it. But we ate it. What can I say? Um, yeah, it turned out really, really well. That's the best loaf I've made so far. Kathleen took some pictures of toasties that she made. She made a tuna and cheese toastie with it, so we'll get them put up on just on the post or whatever. Um, got a lot done in the bedroom, changed the bed over, etc. So yeah, it's been quite a productive day. Well, it was quite a productive morning. I have to admit, I've been sitting watching Yellowstone this afternoon. I hadn't realised how late it had got because the sun is still bright here. We've got door open, dogs in and out, cats in and out. Kathleen and the dog have been out and about before it got too hot. So yeah, it's been one of those days. But I had a thought just before I came to do this. Um, the tractor went past my window. That's how rural I am. Um, and I was like, yep, that's. And I remember that when I came home yesterday from work, there were 6 machines in one field, and they weren't doing the ploughing, they were doing the next bit, the sort of flattening and planting bit. And where our office is at work, we're at a junction at the outside edge of Perth, and there's been a lot of sprayers going about, and there's been sprayers here, and it's something that happens here. You see it. You see it at this time of year. And this is how we know it's this time of year because there's farm traffic everywhere. And if, depending on the road you're on, if you're just coming out of town, then you're normally quite lucky because they're normally turning off one way or t'other. If you're on one of the back roads with many, many fields, you just settle yourself down, put on the radio and just follow the tractor. Because playing, it's just not worth it. Playing chicken with a tractor. So, and plus the fact this is where we live, this is what happens. Um, but what I really, really like about it is obviously the farmer whose fields I passed yesterday, he doesn't have 6 of those machines, but he'll have one, his neighbour will have one, the guy across the road will have one, the guy up the hill will have one. And what they do is they all get together and they blitz the place. And you see, if you get caught behind one of them, that's a real pain in the ass. But again, it just has to be done because that means they've finished with one farmer, they're now going on to the next farm, which is normally not that far away, so you just let them do their thing. But it's lovely to see that the farmers are still supporting each other and getting stuff done together. And it happens here, as I say, it happens at this time of year, and it also happens at harvest time in the autumn when the combines are out. And they will have 3 or 4 combines in each field, just churning it up, getting it done, on to the next field, getting it done. If they've got a good day for harvesting, well, at the moment the oilseed rape is yellow. Poor Kathleen with hay fever, that's not much fun. But the oilseed rape is yellow, so it'll be due to be harvested soon. And they'll just, if they get a dry day where it's good for the harvest, they'll just blitz every single field. And they'll move the farm machinery from one farm to the other. At harvest time, you see the combines, they go hit the fields and go on to the next fields, etc., etc. And I think that's a really good thing. And sometimes, every so often, you'll get some stupidity, which is, I think I've probably told you this before, it was years ago. I was at what we call the community council meeting. I think in England that would be the equivalent of your parish council. Your small local council things it's not that they make laws, but they are the sort of representatives. And somebody who wasn't from here, who had moved here, is like, the tractors are obviously going so fast through the town. They must be speeding. They must be stopped. We can't have tractors going through the town at that speed. Excuse me? And thankfully the policeman was there, and he's like, mate, the tractors are limited. They can't go any faster than 30 miles an hour, so that's no happening. And plus the fact, it's a rural farming town, so that's no happening. And I was like, you moved to a rural farming town. What do you expect? There's going to be farm stuff. Somebody else moved to a cottage with fields on the outside, and phoned the police on the farmer because they were combining at stupid o'clock in the morning. And I mean, granted, it's probably 2 o'clock in the morning. But we were always brought up with that. We'd go to school, we had assemblies at school on Mondays and Fridays, first thing in the morning. And every so often, the very back row, because it came, in ages. So the youngest were at the front, the oldest were at the back. And as you got to the older ones, at planting time and harvest time, farmers' boys were never there. And it was just accepted. If it was dry enough to get the harvest in, it was all hands on deck. But this person managed to complain enough that they were told they weren't allowed to start before 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a good few hours of harvest time those boys were losing. And that really irked me, can I just say. And it's happening all over the country, as people think that it's really nice to move into a rural community and then suddenly realise that there's cockerels crowing and there's cows mooing and there's tractors going here, there and everywhere. And it's a shame because, it's actually a really, really good community, a very good supportive community in a rural place like this. And I like it. So there you go. I just thought I would say it's that time here when the farmers are all out doing their thing and you see many, many machines in the fields. And as I say, if they're on the road, normally you just sit behind them and let them go. Because unless you're a doctor going on a call or something like that, there's no need for you to be trying to overtake a tractor on a country road. They're too big and the roads are too narrow. Catch you later.